This is the Balanced Growth Show with Dr. Travis Perry, helping successful business professionals like you achieve balance in their lives.
Balanced Growth Show Live. I'm your host, Dr. Travis Perry. You know, as I've been doing these live shows and doing some training, last week I was able to do our very first Balanced Growth Show live in person. We've done these through the COVID era, online and through Zoom, and it's been a blast. But being able to have everyone here at the Make Time HQ was really fun. I enjoy the in-person. And one very specific thing, as I asked participants what they took away from this the most after 2 days of intense training. One, productivity, and how productivity can help you have greater balance. And two, how you can then, instead of feeding fuel to the flames of all the immense things you got to do throughout your day, be laser focused on growing your business. These two go hand in hand. So I want to talk about productivity. Now, some, times I've maybe come across too harsh against, this idea of productivity only. But that doesn't mean that I don't know about how to be ultra productive throughout your day. In fact, this is what got me from becoming a do-it-all financial advisor to eventually becoming more productive. Unfortunately, if all you do is focus on productivity, and here's the caution, if you have no boundaries, if you have nothing outside of work that excites you so that you leave work, then oftentimes people will justify working at work, coming home, and working from home, or going on vacation and working on vacation. Some of you do a great job of turning those things off because you actually believe in being present, and that's a huge component of the whole balanced growth equation. But some of you often struggle with, well, what do you call work? How do you define it? I work 80 hours if you define, work not from the office. Otherwise, I'm about 50. I call baloney on you and anyone else because all you're really doing is cheating yourself and everyone around you who loves you. They want to spend time with you. Leave work at work, home at home, church at church. It kills me. I'm sitting there in the pew getting ready for church on Sundays, and I see people answering their text messages, their emails, scrolling through Facebook as we're beginning a sacred service. On the flip side, I see, again, this attitude of, well, work is work, and I enjoy doing it, so therefore I can do it whenever. We do live in a world where we can literally work from our phones, work from any place in the world, which is awesome. It's fantastic. And shout out to my brother from South Africa, Clovis, who's all over the map working. That said, you need to take a break. Otherwise, you can become a productive workaholic. All right. Now that I've offended most of you, I want to tell you why productivity is so important and how you can use it inside the framework of having boundaries to really make your business hum and 10x so that you can focus on the things that matter the most. On this show, a lot of times I get people calling in and asking, hey, how can I grow my business in these crazy times? What can I do? And the reality is if they could just focus on their sweet spot, the 5 or 6 things that make them A, the most money, and B, are the most exciting for them, light their fire, they'll be just fine. And then getting the word out, that's the marketing aspect. That is the balanced growth part that we, get into. So the first thing on that list of 5 or 6, one of those first activities is processing. This one tip will make you more productive, more incredibly just on the ball with what you need to do, laser focused every day. The real issue is most people are multitasking throughout the day. And they're only spending 20 to 25% of their workday actually doing the things that move the business forward. If they were to quit multitasking around and, writing an email while doing a phone call or texting while they're in an appointment, if they could just focus their minds and be present, a lot of this would be solved. But let's look at who we're dealing with. I know we all have a little bit ADD and ADHD. In fact, the guy that taught me this said that the doctor kind of threw the book at him and said, "You have the worst case of ADD I've ever mentioned." Dave Crenshaw, I love you. If you ever watch these, you're awesome. He's taught me a lot about productivity, which is part of the balance equation. But that said, I know that multitasking is, quite honestly, almost bred in us. In fact, most job interviews will have still in the resumes, can multitask really well. Now, you women out there, you typically can multitask better than men. That said, I've done this test hundreds of times where men and women, I've done this in classes of 150, 200 freshmen, sophomores at college levels. I've asked them to come up on the board and we'll do ABC 1, 2, 3. It's the Dave Crenshaw Myth of Multitasking test. Look it up. If you don't believe me, it is absolutely incredible. But what you do is if you're doing A1, B2, C3, you're going to eventually mess up. And the quality and the quantity, whether you're male or female, both are not very great. So what do you do about it? How can you help this? We know of this tendency to multitask. We know that if we can just focus on the things that are most important, so how do we stay focused? This is how you do it. You give yourself 1 hour a day. In that hour, at work, you process through all of the different collection points. A collection point is anywhere that there's information that needs to be sorted, period. Business owners have typically 30 plus collection points at any given time on average. I actually used to come in and I would take everything out of the office of that business owner, anything that doesn't have a place that's not in a collection point, and we'd go back through and we'd organize everything. And what I found is still struggle to keep the collection points from not exploding again. Your pockets, your cell phone, how many email accounts do you have? How many social media accounts do you reply to? How many voicemail, text message lines do you have that you check throughout the day? Don't get me wrong. This is part of the issue of multitasking. We tend to feel great and exciting when we get a message and we feel like our ego is rubbed a little bit that, we're important. It's part of it. I get it. That's why things ding. That's why we have red dots on our apps. I got rid of all my notifications, minimized all my apps. All my email goes into one account in Outlook. All of my social media replies go into one spot with Agora Pulse. Nowadays, you can condense all these things that used to be driving us nuts. So then what do you do during that hour? During that hour, once everything is condensed and you have it the way that it's set up and the way I teach in the book, Achieving Balance, is then you go through and you spend just a few minutes asking yourself, can I do this one task? If I can do it less than 5 minutes, awesome, do it. If I can delegate it, can I delegate it in 5 minutes? Great, let it go. If you have to do it and it takes you more than 5 minutes, then you have to ask yourself, does this have a due date or will this take me longer than 30 minutes? If it has a due date or it takes you longer than 30 minutes, put it on your calendar. If it takes longer than 5, put it in a task list. Task list is sort of the graveyard for ideas and things that people think they have to get done. Trust me, I used to use the Covey matrix, all right? It's actually the Eisenhower matrix, and it's the whole urgent, not urgent, important, not important. I spent more time trying to figure out what was urgent, not urgent, important, not important, until I came across Dave Crenshaw and his work with the myth of multitasking. He worked very closely with Michael Gerber and the E-Myth, so I consider myself Michael Gerber's grandson, at least in productivity. That said, this system that I just taught you, that processing system, David Allen talks about it in Getting Things Done. It works. I've simplified it and made it very user-friendly. It's just 3 steps. Boom, boom, boom. Can I delegate it? Can I get it done in 5 minutes? If I can't delegate it, if not, it's either going on the calendar or in a to-do list. The to-do list you can get through once you've done pretty much everything else. And that's an easy way to filter out what's not important and not urgent. Sometimes you go through that task list and you'll be like, oh, that was a great idea. I'm never going to do that again. Oh, wow, that's a gem. I'm going to keep that one. And maybe I will latch onto that. The time or the season of life and business might be right. But don't throw them out. Keep them. Otherwise, your brain tends to keep all these great ideas. And the brain is not a collection point. The brain likes to put things in long-term memory and store them there. It doesn't have great short-term memory. We all think that, oh man, my memory's bad. No, it's just how the brain works. It's functioning that way because you've programmed it to remember the things that you really need to in times of need. Otherwise, the short-term things, they tend to cycle around and they cause more stress and it makes you more full of anxiety. So don't do that. If you have thoughts, at least throw them in your task list. And when you clean that out, an hour a day, go through all your email, your voicemail, your text, your tasks as much as you can, really in that order, even social media, maybe at the top. Then you'll be able to spend the rest of your day not worrying about what's coming in mailboxes all over the place. Some people will check everything at the end of the day. Now, let me be clear about this. This doesn't mean you don't check your email throughout the day. I know some people are like, oh, I never check my email throughout the day. That's fine. But I'm not saying you don't have to. You can work from your email if you need to, but you shouldn't be in there reactively responding to every little thing throughout the day. You can process once a day if you have enough time, about an hour. Now, some of you, when you get started, you might have like 65,000 emails, as one of my clients did last week. So you're going to have to put some extra time in your calendar to get through all those emails. Don't just delete them or throw them into archive because you're not going to learn your lesson. You really need to go through them. And you need to ask yourself those questions. And you'd be amazed. Sometimes you really missed the ball or drop the ball. You missed something big because you haven't done this processing step. Honestly, I've been doing this for 17, 18 years now, and it's phenomenal. I have literally doubled, tripled my productivity when I first started, and I just never look back. It's just continual time that keeps on giving. And I know this will keep you from multitasking, but more importantly, from being on task, those other 4, 5, 6 activities that you should be spending 80% of your time doing, do it. Stay focused. That alone will help you in your trajectory of 10xing your business. Obviously, the balanced growth, I talk about in Vitology and how to market yourself organically without ads to people who actually care about your message. You don't need to be an influencer to everyone. You need to be a specialist for your niche, which I get into in the Balanced Growth book. If you're interested, we are doing the Balanced Growth Challenge, October 9th. I will drop a link. You can go to Make Time Institute /Balanced Growth Challenge. MakeTimeInstitute.com /Balanced Growth Challenge. I hope to see you all there. It's going to be fantastic. I'm going to go through productivity, balance, processing in detail, transformational systems, how to use Vitology, and support systems to help you stay balanced while you 10x your business. It's fantastic opportunity for you to learn, grow. We've taken this business from 0 to over $1 million in just a couple of years. And I know, because I've been working with so many financial advisors, coaches, speakers, authors, helping them to 10x their businesses, it works. If you don't believe me? Go to MakeTimeInstitute.com, check out all of our testimonials and how we've changed the lives of literally dozens of people throughout this country. And I hope to see you there. Thank you again for spending the time and making the time to be with us here at the Balanced Growth Show. And good luck with everything until next time. Remember, live life on purpose.